The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini, Chapter 8. For a week I barely saw Hassan. I woke up to find toasted bread, brewed tea, and a boiled egg already on the kitchen table. My clothes for the day were ironed and folded, left on the cane seat chair in the foyer where Hassan usually did his ironing. He used to wait for me to sit at the breakfast table before he started ironing. That way we could talk. Used to sing too over the hissing of the iron. Sang old Hazara songs about tulip fields. Now only the folded clothes greeted me. That and a breakfast I hardly finished anymore. One overcast morning, as I was pushing the boiled egg around on my plate, Ali walked in cradling a pile of chopped wood. I asked him where Hassan was. He went back to sleep, Ali said, kneeling before the stove. He pulled the little square door open. Would Hassan be able to play today? Ali paused with a log in his hand. A worried look crossed his face. Lately it seems all he wants to do is sleep. He does his chores, I see to that, but then he just wants to crawl under his blanket. Can I ask you something? If you have to. After that kite tournament, he came home a little bloodied and his shirt was torn. I asked him what had happened, and he said it was nothing, that he had gotten into a little scuffle with some kids over the kite. I didn't say anything, just kept pushing the egg around on my plate. Did something happen to him, Amir Agha? Something he's not telling me? I shrugged. How should I know? You would tell me, na? Inshallah, you would tell me if something had happened? Like I said, how should I know what's wrong with him? I snapped. Maybe he's sick. People get sick all the time, Ali. Now, am I going to freeze to death or are you planning on lighting the stove today? That night, I asked Baba if we could go to Jalalabad on Friday. He was rocking on the leather swivel chair behind his desk reading a newspaper. He put it down, took off the reading glasses I disliked so much. Baba wasn't old, not at all, and he had lots of years left to live. So why did he have to wear those stupid glasses? Why not? He said. Lately Baba agreed to everything I asked. Not only that, just 2 nights before he had asked me if I wanted to see El Cid with Charlton Heston at Cinema Ariana. Do you want to ask Hassan to come along to Jalalabad? Why did Baba have to spoil it like that? He's Mareez, I said, not feeling well. Really? Baba stopped rocking in his chair. What's wrong with him? I gave a shrug and sank in the sofa by the fireplace. He's got a cold or something. Ali says he's sleeping it off. I haven't seen much of Hassan the last few days, Baba said. That's all it is then, a cold. I couldn't help hating the way his brow furrowed with worry. Just a cold. So are we going Friday, Baba? Yes, Baba said, pushing away from the desk. Too bad about Hassan. I thought you might have had more fun if he came. Well, the 2 of us can have fun together, I said. Baba smiled, winked. Dress warm, he said. It should have been just the 2 of us. That was the way I wanted it. But by Wednesday night, Baba had managed to invite another 24 people. He called his cousin Humayun, he was actually Baba's second cousin, and mentioned he was going to Jalalabad on Friday, and Humayun, who had studied engineering in France and had a house in Jalalabad, said he'd love to have everyone over. He'd bring the kids, his 2 wives, and while he was at it, cousin Shafiqa and her family were visiting from Herat. Maybe she'd like to tag along. And since she was staying with cousin Nadir in Kabul, his family would have to be invited as well, even though Humayun and Nadir had a bit of a feud going. And if Nadir was invited, surely his brother Farooq had to be asked too, or his feelings would be hurt, and he might not invite them to his daughter's wedding next month. And we filled 3 vans. I rode with Baba, Rahim Khan, Kaka Humayun. Baba had taught me at a young age to call any older male Kaka or uncle and any older female Khala or aunt. Kaka Humayun's 2 wives rode with us too, the pinch-faced older one with the warts on her hands and the younger one who always smelled of perfume and danced with her eyes closed, as did Kaka Humayun's twin girls. I sat in the back row, car-sick and dizzy, sandwiched between the 7-year-old twins who kept reaching over my lap to slap at each other. The road to Jalalabad is a 2-hour trek through mountain roads winding along a steep drop, and my stomach lurched with each hairpin turn. Everyone in the van was talking loudly and at the same time nearly shrieking, which is how Afghans talk. I asked one of the twins, Fazila or Karima, I could never tell which was which, if she'd trade her window seat with me so I could get fresh air on account of my car sickness. She stuck her tongue out and said no. I told her that was fine, but I couldn't be held accountable for vomiting on her new dress. A minute later, I was leaning out the window. I watched the cratered road rise and fall, whirl its tail around the mountainside, counted the multicolored trucks packed with squatting men lumbering past. I tried closing my eyes, letting the wind slap at my cheeks, open my mouth to swallow the clean air. I still didn't feel better. A finger poked me in the side. It was Fazila or Karima. What? I said. I was just telling everyone about the tournament, Baba said from behind the wheel. Kaka Humayun and his wives were smiling at me from the middle row of seats. There must have been 100 kites in the sky that day, Baba said. Is that about right, Amir? I guess so, I mumbled. 100 kites, Humayun Jan. No laugh. And the only one still flying at the end of the day was Amir's. He has the last kite at home, a beautiful blue kite. Hassan and Amir ran it together. Congratulations, Kaka Humayun said. His first wife, the one with the warts, clapped her hands. Wah, wah, Amir Jan, we are all so proud of you, she said. The younger wife joined in. Then they were all clapping, yelping their praises, telling me how proud I'd made them all. Only Rahim Khan, sitting in the passenger seat next to Baba, was silent. He was looking at me in an odd way. Please pull over, Baba, I said. What? Getting sick, I muttered, leaning across the seat, pressing against Kaka Humayun's daughters. Fazila or Karima's face twisted. Pull over, Kaka. His face is yellow. I don't want him throwing up on my new dress, she squealed. Baba began to pull over, but I didn't make it. A few minutes later, I was sitting on a rock on the side of the road as they aired out the van. Baba was smoking with Kaka Humayun, who was telling Fazila or Karima to stop crying. He'd buy her another dress in Jalalabad. I closed my eyes, turned my face to the sun. Little shapes formed behind my eyelids, like hands playing shadows on the wall. They twisted, merged, formed a single image. Hassan's brown corduroy pants, discarded on a pile of old bricks in the alley. Kaka Humayun's white 2-story house in Jalalabad had a balcony overlooking a large walled garden with apple and persimmon trees. There were hedges that in the summer the gardener shaped like animals, and a swimming pool with emerald-colored tiles. I sat on the edge of the pool, empty, save for a layer of slushy snow at the bottom, feet dangling in. Kaka Humayun's kids were playing hide-and-seek at the other end of the yard. The women were cooking, and I could smell onions frying already, could hear the fut-fut of a pressure cooker, music, laughter. Baba, Rahim Khan, Kaka Humayun and Kaka Nadir were sitting on the balcony smoking. Kaka Humayun was telling them he had brought the projector along to show his slides of France. 10 years since he had returned from Paris, and he was still showing those stupid slides. It shouldn't have felt this way. Baba and I were finally friends. We had gone to the zoo a few days before, seen Marja, the lion, and I had hurled a pebble at the bear when no one was watching. We had gone to the Khoda's kebab house afterward, across from Cinema Park, had lamb kebab with freshly baked naan from the tandoor. Baba told me stories of his travels to India and Russia, the people he had met, like the armless, legless couple in Bombay who had been married 47 years and raised 11 children. That should have been fun, spending a day like that with Baba, hearing his stories. I finally had what I wanted all those years. Except now that I had it, I felt as empty as this unkempt pool I was dangling my legs into. The wives and daughters served dinner, rice, kofta and chicken korma at sundown. We dined with traditional way, sitting on cushions around the room, tablecloths spread on the floor, eating with our hands in groups of 4 or 5 from common platters. I wasn't hungry but sat down to eat anyway with Baba, Kaka Farooq and Kaka Humayun's 2 boys. Baba, who had had a few scotches before dinner, was still ranting about the kite tournament, how I had outlasted them all, how I had come home with the last kite. His booming voice dominated the room. People raised their heads from their platters, called out their congratulations. Kaka Farooq patted my back with his clean hand. I felt like sticking a knife in my eye. Later, well past midnight, after a few hours of poker between Baba and his cousins, the men lay down to sleep on parallel mattresses in the same room where we had dined. The women went upstairs. An hour later, I still couldn't sleep. I kept tossing and turning as my relatives grunted, sighed, and snored in their sleep. I sat up. A wedge of moonlight streamed in through the window. I watched Hassan get raped. I said to no one. Baba stirred in his sleep. Kaka Humayun grunted. A part of me was hoping someone would wake up and hear, so I wouldn't have to live with this lie anymore. But no one woke up, and in the silence that followed, I understood the nature of my new curse. I was going to get away with it. I thought about Hassan's dream, the one about us swimming in the lake. There is no monster, he had said, just water, except he had been wrong about that. There was a monster in the lake. It had grabbed Hassan by the ankles, dragged him to the murky bottom. I was that monster. That was the night I became an insomniac.